Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me for the second installment of a little series that I'm calling the Cult Leaders Toolbox, where we explore different tactics that cults use to captivate their followers and, in many cases, to hold them captive. So, today is episode 2, and it's entitled Satisfaction Guaranteed. Cult leaders are great salespeople. They will claim to have some special secret, something that you need. They try to find a need and fill it. If they can't find a need in you, they'll create a need. And they use all kinds of great flowery language and things to try to suck you in, a charismatic personality, all kinds of tricks. So just something to look out for. And they claim to have some special secret of the universe, a product, a program, something that will help you, something that you know you want. And they will recruit people to um, give testimonials and to just sing their praises. And sometimes, a lot of times, it's somebody that you know that will try to get you into this type of thing. So, today I want to tell you a little story. And yes, it is story time here at Coffee, Cults, and Crafts, Triple C. I want to tell you a story about the smartest man in the world. The smartest man in the world was born in Brooklyn in 1960. His father was a advertising executive. His mother was a ballroom dance instructor. When he was 5 years old, his family moved to upstate New York. And growing up, his parents always told him how special he was, how gifted and talented, how smart he was. And after he graduated from high school, he enrolled in RPI, which is Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, where he graduated from RPI with a 2.26 grade point average. Smartest man in the world. He got that distinction a few years later when he took a um, an IQ test called MEGA, MEGA. And it has since been pretty much discredited. It was under a lot of criticism that it really wasn't studied properly or really a valid IQ test. But he did end up in a very obscure edition, a 1989 edition of the Guinness Book of World Records, only in Australia. And so, yeah, he was dubbed by, I guess, himself and many people later on as the smartest man in the world. So, upon graduating from RPI, he got really heavily into multi-level marketing. So he started by getting very involved with the one of the big OGs, the mother of all MLMs, is Amway. And after he was in that for several years, he decided to start his own MLM himself. And it was called Consumer Byline. And he um, started this company, and it was basically a pyramid scheme. So it gave discounts um, in return for recruiting. So 3 short years later, he was being investigated by 20 different states, and New York State, where he lived, indicted him with and told him he could no longer be involved in any more MLMs and fined him a whopping $9,000, which I guess he barely paid. So he didn't let that stop him. He also started some kind of vitamin thing, and that fell flat. And in 1998, he started another one. And this time he had to kind of go underground and find somebody to put their name on it. So he met a lady. Her name was Nancy. And this guy, the smartest man in the world, liked video games. So he named himself Vanguard after his favorite video game. And they started a program called Nexium. And yes, I'm talking about, if you haven't figured it out yet, I am talking about Keith Raniere. Yeah, one of the most infamous, notorious, terrible people in the world, not the smartest man in the world. And just to review a little bit about the rest of the story, many of you know, especially those who've seen the Vow or Seduced, or have listened to Sarah and Nippy Edmondson's podcast, you know the rest of the story. He started this program. He recruited many people, people that had background in Hollywood, and rich people, some famous people, some struggling actors, and put together this program where he used things like sashes and all kinds of flowery language, all kinds of enticements, and he called it ESP, Executive Success Programs. Who doesn't want to be successful, right? So, fast forward several years, and he was indicted for fraud, racketeering, and other things that we really probably shouldn't talk about on YouTube. Really, really bad things that he did to women. And he was sentenced to 120 years in prison. And yeah, so he's gone, hopefully. And so I know, again, it's another extreme example. My last video was on Jim Jones, but I'm using these examples to basically illustrate how a cult leader can operate. And you can apply this to many different things: abusive relationships, um, job situations, anything that you feel like you're being controlled or manipulated. Just take some of these red flags and think about it if those things come up. So the flowery language, the buttering you up, FOMO, fear of missing out, just things that sound too good to be true. They almost always are. So I hope that this gives you a little bit of food for thought. We're going to keep going on these short videos. And if you have any suggestions, please email me at coffeecultsandcrafts@gmail.com. And I hope that you will leave a comment and that you will like. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Bye bye.